Fuck you, Tarantino. Let's talk about it. So, yeah, this is going to be a different video. This video is basically to discuss the tantrum and what he said regarding Paul Dano. Celebrated actor, very underrated, always excellent in everything he does. I'm going to touch upon a few things on it. I'll show some screenshots of what he said, but essentially, just to whittle it all down, December 2nd episode of the Bret Easton podcast, Tarantino was on, and he had some choice words that he would like to say in regards to the film There Will Be Blood. Specifically, in regards to the performance of Paul Dano opposite Daniel Day-Lewis, the most celebrated, most greatest actor of all time. Personally, I feel that Philip Seymour Hoffman and Denzel Washington are the greatest actors of all time. But that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. So come at me if you want. I don't give a fuck. There Will Be Blood would stand a good chance at being number one or number two if it didn't have a big giant flaw. Okay, this is the main quote that he said. There's more, but I'm gonna just highlight this main quote. So specifically, Tarantino said on the Easton podcast, "There Will Be Blood would stand a good chance at being number one or two if it didn't have a big giant flaw in it." And the flaw is Paul Dano. He further reiterates, obviously, it's supposed to be a two-hander, but it's also drastically obvious that it's not a two-hander. He is weak sauce, man. He is the weak sister. 62 years old. This man is 62 years old, and he's calling another man that had no gripes with him, didn't call him out on anything, just doing his job, just clocking in, going about doing his job. A weak sauce, a weak sister. Now, you have to understand, Tarantino, you are a director, you are a person of power. Hollywood listens to you. You are a man of influence. And for you to come out of your mouth and say what the fuck you said, pissed me off to no one, because specifically Paul Dano, from my knowledge, has never been problematic in Hollywood. He's always just done his fucking job. He's come into work, he's acted, clocked in, clocked out, gone home, take care of his family. I've never heard any salacious information about him. He's always been in the cut by himself, just focused on his work. And for you to say what you said denotes how much lack of empathy you have, how much lack of professionalism you have, just the type of disgusting individual you are, that you know you have a lot of power, you know you have a lot of influence, and you just don't really think about the things that you say. They just spit out your mouth. They just shit out your mouth. Now, it could be argued that maybe you're, I don't know, jealous of Paul Dano because he's a better actor than you. I've seen a lot of movies that you're in. And when it comes to your role, your character, it's quite forgettable. You may have an accent here and there. You may do a little flair here and there. But in stacking up to other actors, and you can disagree with me. You guys can disagree with me if you want to. You're usually the weakest part of that movie. You're the most. If it wasn't for you having that movie and casting yourself in your own movie, I don't think you would ever have an opportunity to be an actor or whatnot. But that's just me. That's just. But to get back onto the things that you said, I don't understand why old men PMSing is destroying the world. I don't know why there's a lot of legendary directors that are just coming out of their mouth saying a whole lot of shit on Twitter, a whole lot of shit on interviews or podcasts, and then when you look at their recent work, it's garbage. You know, it's unwatchable. Okay, I tried to watch Flowers of the Moon. I couldn't. I tried 6 times and I couldn't get through that. Okay. Yes, I have a problem with Scorsese using in this and in that in his films. But his most recent work pales in comparison to his past work, and that could be said for everybody. Okay, my past videos were far better than my current videos, and it's a transitional thing. But I don't particularly like for individuals with influence, individuals with power, punching down on actors, on the people that work for them, because usually it's one thing that you say. Usually in Hollywood, you say one bad thing about a person and they're blacklisted. You know, if you're a black actor or actress, you know about this. You know, just one little thing, and it could be nothing at all. Just out off the blue, they could just say something. I don't like that person. I don't like how that person talks. I don't like how that person acts. I don't like how that person looks. And and they spread it around and spread it around, and then you find out you're not working again. That's the type of issue where I'm having with the way this came out. And apparently Tarantino said something about Matthew Lillard too, where he just doesn't think he's a great actor. Now you guys can debate that all you want, but I personally believe and feel in my heart every single movie Matthew Lillard was in, he was memorable in one way or fashion. Scream, the first Scream, he was memorable. Scooby Doo, Shaggy, he looked like Shaggy. He is someone who is a great character actor and a great actor. I'm not trying to say that he's, you know, Lawrence of Olivier. I don't think that's what he's going for. I think he's going for doing his job. And for you to say, I don't like him, you're entitled to your opinion, Tarantino. You're entitled to your opinion. I just think that you should take just a second to think, is what I'm saying going to damage the reputation of somebody else? And it shows the power, it shows the reverence of people like Matthew Lillard, people like Paul Dano specifically, where especially specifically Paul Dano for a minute, because I want to stick to him. I'm going to jump back to him for a minute, where he doesn't have to say anything. He doesn't have to say anything, and he has people like this and this speaking for him. You know, Matthew Reeves is like, the man is great. He's good. You know, he's a great actor. He's a good person, and sometimes that doesn't seem like that's enough in today's industry. It doesn't seem like it's enough in today's world. There's a lot of people with power just because at one time or another they weren't given a shine, or maybe they were given a shine, it wasn't the shine that they wanted. You know, what this reminds me a lot of the vitriol that like Kanye had, where he was struggling to get on in the industry. Man, he was doing the beats, he was producing, and you know, the old school rappers, they just weren't feeling him. They weren't really feeling him. They weren't letting him have his shine. And it took, you know, time, but it took people like Jay-Z to take him under his wing for them to validate him. It took a lot of different rap artists to say like, oh no, this guy, he's got it, you know. And then years later, he just loses his mind. He just says whatever he wants out of his mouth. He's literally just crossed over in terms of not remembering how hard it was to come up. And then now he's flipping that script, and now he's shitting on other people. And it seems like that's what Tarantino is. You knew how hard it was to come up. You knew how hard it is for someone who's worked in a video store, who's been an ardent film critic, and you know how what people view you as. You know, people view you that you're not the most handsome person in the world, but you let your talent speak for yourself. You know, you're not the most gifted actor, but you're a brilliant writer. You're a brilliant director. You know, and for you not to see that in someone, even someone who may not be in your eyes as big as Daniel Day-Lewis, it just speaks just to your lack of empathy, your lack of maturity. As someone who's 62 years old and you don't know fuck what's going on. I've watched There Will Be Blood. The whole point of Paul Dano's character, but to be slimy, slippery, slick, weak weasel of a character, and he nailed that. He nailed it. He's literally the only actor I know. There's not that many actors or actresses that I know that went toe to toe with Daniel Day-Lewis in his own movie and was just as memorable, if not more memorable, than Daniel Day-Lewis. You know, I would argue to say it's easier to be bombastic in your role. It's easier to be evil and mischievous and dark like Daniel Day-Lewis is. You know, because you're pulling in the dark side of your character. You're pulling the dark side of the character that's written. It's easier to tap into that that darkness, but to be someone who's both weak and manipulative and dark and vulnerable and manic and wild and slippery and Paul Dano encompassed all of that in that role, and he made that role his own. And for you not to understand the motivations of that character, for you to see There Will Be Blood however many times you've seen it and not pick up on that, for you to come out of your mouth and say this man is weak sauce, he's a weak sister, why would you do something like that to another grown ass man? You know, why would you say something like that on a podcast? knowing that maybe Paul Dano wanted to maybe work with you in the future or something like that, and for you to say no, I'm just gonna just write him off for his acting capability. I don't like it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of these old ass directors just thinking they can say whatever the fuck they want to say, and there's no consequences. You know, Tarantino, your main job is to direct your 10th movie. Okay, instead you pushing out a director's cut of a 1 and 2 movie that came out over 10 years ago. You're teaming up with Fortnite to market your movie with some side content, which is probably great. I love Kill Bill 1 and 2, but we've seen it before. We've seen this shit before. It just seems like you're like twiddling your thumbs before you make something else. It seems like you're saying shit to promote Kill Bill 1 and 2. You're saying shit just to say shit, you know? Let's wrap this up. Tarantino, you should really just shut the fuck up. Finish your fucking 10th movie and just go about your business. If you truly knew about great performances, you would have taken the time to better analyze and understand the significance and relevance and skill Paul Dano had. And not just There Will Be Blood, but in so many other films. So many other films. Paul Dano is the type of actor, he does not pick an easy role. He does not pick an easy fucking role. Or or those movies that were just like, are just slam dunks. You know, easily marketable. You know, the only one I've seen was the Batman, maybe Okja. But Swiss Army Man, like, that was hard. That's had to be hard to market. And he was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. Just to push his skill set, just to be in the film. He liked the character, he liked where the story's going, and he did it. And he does his job, and that's it. You don't hear anything other than this man is a great dude, and he's a great actor. And that's it. I don't have to do a fucking Hot Ones. I don't have to do any bullshit interviews. I don't have to do any fucking Chanel ads. All I want to do is act and go the fuck home. And people like you just don't understand. People who are unproblematic, who just want to do their fucking job. You felt like something, you were jealous of him or something. I don't know if he fucked your wife or hit your dog or pissed on your yard. I don't know what Paul Dano did for you to come out of your mouth other than to see that he has a better acting skill set than you. But you're a director. You're one of the most famous directors in the world. Why can't you just accept that? Why can't you just move the fuck on? Why do you have to add on to that? You know? Why can't you old fucks just enjoy your success, be professional, do your job, and go the fuck home? Why is there so much extra? Why do you have to abuse people? Why do you have to talk shit about people that are below you in the industry totem pole? You know, without any forethought, without any empathy, without any self-reflection, you just say whatever the fuck and do whatever the fuck you want to do, and the world's like, oh, he's so brilliant. He's such a great guy. No, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Finish your fucking 10th movie and move the fuck on. As the kids say, put the fries in the fucking bag and shut the fuck up. Alright? That's all I got. I'm sorry. This is a long one. I had this on my heart for a while. I was just trying to think of time to say it. So, if you like this video, feel free to like it. I can already surmise people are not going to like this video. People are not going to like the cussing. I should have put a disclaimer in the beginning. If you hate cussing, skip this video, but I was too tired. I just got off of work, so yeah, that's all I got. Cabs out.